Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube? This is SEAON0320 representing JVS. I'm gonna apologize. Well, first, before I even get there, go down to the description bar below. In the description bar below, there will be a link directly to our Team JVS website. On that Team JVS website, you'll be able to see the full entire reaction to the finale, which is episode 16, The Storm of Season 9 of The Walking Dead. I apologize because this video is gonna be about a good 10 minutes, just because I know, for whatever reason, I don't know why it happens this way, I always do this, that if I might make 2 different videos. I'm gonna test the storm with this one. For whatever reason, I would love to give you guys like full reactions just like this spontaneously, but anytime I make it like 30 seconds or a minute, y'all like, this isn't the full reaction, and so nobody watches it. And so 10 minutes is about the allotted time that I normally use to go and edit. Instead of me going and re-editing the whole entire thing, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of break down certain things about the season that I really did enjoy, and things that, you know, I just was boggled by how the progression of these characters has changed things. But I'm going to, throughout these 10 minutes, also continuously talk about how you can just go down the description bar below, and then the last 20 seconds you can be able to click this link. It's going to be like a short little box. I'm going to like literally put it right here on my face. You just click on my face and it'll take you straight there as well. I apologize for doing it this way, but I feel like this is the only way you guys are going to be able to even watch. Now, for you guys that are just watching this, you can stop. You don't have to watch anymore. If you want to kind of hear me talk about the season, I'm going to really give you guys my honest truth and thoughts about the season as a whole, because I rarely do season like reviews. I normally do that with Jarrell and like Farewell, Mon back in the day, but Mon doesn't watch the show anymore. Farewell is really busy, and then Jarrell's really busy. He doesn't even do kind of reactions anymore anyway, and we don't do discussions like we used to. But I'm gonna try my best to kind of break this down. But again, you can stop this right now. You don't have to watch any more of what I've got. You just go down to the description bar below, check the full entire reaction. I want you to. Hopefully you enjoy it. Patreon family, I apologize, because I did say initially that I was going to put it on Patreon, but I was like, why don't I just give it to everybody? Why don't I just let everybody watch this? Because, you know, there's so many shows coming up that I can easily go and do reactions for. I mean, I still haven't done reactions to a lot of different shows. So let's go ahead and break it down. The beginning of this season, I think it was a lot of anxiety, just because, you know, we heard that Andrew Lincoln was going to be leaving the show, and I was legitimately worried. I was like, how is this supposed to work? Like, how can there be a show without Rick? And I think even to Jarrell's point, it was like he is the centerpiece of the show, and it was kind of just like, why is this happening? Is this kind of like a call sign of things gonna go left really quickly? And then character Maggie was going to be going off the show because the actress was on something else, and it just kind of was a lot of warning signs and anxiety. And it's kind of just like, I felt like it was a race, you know, in my head to wait until the moment when Rick died or left or whatever. Like, I think that was my focal point. Like, the whole beginning half of the season, I don't even remember it anymore because I was so focused in dead set on like how it's gonna happen, and it's kind of like, honestly, the beginning of the season was actually really good. There was some compelling things that happened. Like, there was some really in your face like animosity between like Daryl and Rick, like Rick's perspective on how things should go or could go, or how, you know, his hope and inspiration from the point where he slit Negan's throat, but then trying to preserve life and preservation of life from what Carl wanted, and the ideals that Carl kind of pit forward for the rest of the group, and even for Negan as well. And the fact of like Rick leaving Negan down there, like, put like the Hilltop and everybody else at odds with Alexandria, and it was kind of just like, you know, Maggie had her moment of like literally almost going and killing Negan, and then she realized like it isn't worth it. Like, he wants to die down there, and it's just kind of just like, there was some really amazing character and acted moments. I think, honestly, Andrew Lincoln's last episode was amazing. Like, it was a really good acted and just just character-based episode that kind of shows you, you know, what motivated him, what guided him, and what pushed him. I think the way that he kind of left, it left people kind of just like, wait, so you didn't kill him, you leaving him alive, and then on that same exact day, they announced that they were going to put him in some AMC movies. And it was kind of like now, like, okay, all these things that are going to happen, you're going to do a time jump 5 years later, and like everything's completely different. Judith is a, you know, a teenager at this point, and it's kind of just like anything from this point that happens, it's like Rick is just going to let this happen to his family. He's like, why would he not make his way back, you know? And honestly, we never got that answer, you know what I'm saying? I think that that is a con in the sense that, you know, whenever he does come back in his movie or whatever happens with that, you know, it could be epic, it could be amazing. Michonne could meet him, like, could meet him with the son, and like Judith end up with Negan. I don't know, but I'm saying that, you know, this has been so much turmoil that's happened, and he's had to legit be away from his family. From a character standpoint, like, I mean, it's bad, it's rough. I honestly don't even know where Morgan is. I don't know what happened with Morgan, because I stopped looking at Fear the Walking Dead, but I've heard that Fear the Walking Dead, like The Walking Dead, that kind of had this soft reboot, is really so much better after losing Madison. I think it lost Nick. I think it lost everybody except for, I think Eduardo's still alive. I know for a fact Strand's still alive, and I think that old girl, the daughter, is still alive too. But I've heard really good things about Fear the Walking Dead. I'm actually excited to go back in prospects of going to see that, maybe doing reactions for Patreon family with that. But then things just get interesting, honestly, at the point that you realize, okay, you got this little girl, Judith, like, what is happening here? She's interesting. She's very much so in your face, kind of like Michonne when she first showed up. Negan is still alive, and he's still kept under wraps, but he's developed this bond with Judith. Michonne is just cold, you know what I'm saying? Like, colder than she's ever been. It's kind of like, I was like, man, what happened to her? I mean, I know she lost Rick, but it's like, she just doesn't trust anybody. But yet, you know, her conversation with Maggie was about, like, reforming and trust and letting go of things, and that's not what she's doing. And it's kind of just like, yo, there's something else more here. There's meat here. Daryl is just continuously going out and away from all groups like a hermit because of guilt from what happened with Rick. And it's just kind of just like, there's so many different character moments. There's one moment with, like, Michonne, she goes out into the water and she finds, like, Daryl out there, and, like, she's just looking and she just can't really recoup. And then you find out, like, her and Rick had a child, and she had to suffer that alone. Like, I think the third to last episode, like, we got to see, like, her and her pregnancy, her finding one of her friends again, and a friend, like, brainwashing kids to try to kill Michonne, pregnant Michonne. Like, it was heart-wrenching in so many different ways, because I was like, this is messed up. And they kept on doing that to push the bar with everybody. Like, with Daryl, they gave him another person to interact with Connie. Like, so many different other characters, like Magna and her group, and there's a lot of interesting characters and actors in here. But the thing about it was, when I was watching Daryl, like, coming out of being a hermit to having to interact with everybody again, to having to protect again, to connecting with Henry, to connecting with Lydia, to connecting with Connie, like, this is the most they've been doing with Daryl. Like, Daryl has just been sitting on the sidelines because, honestly, Rick is the man, or was the man, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of just like, I think in my head when I was, like, hearing this, when I was at San Diego Comic-Con last year, I was like, I mean, they're definitely gonna just boot him out. Like, I mean, I don't really know how they're gonna kill him or do whatever, but it's kind of like, it feels like in my head, I was like, this can't be earned. But I mean, from a writing standpoint, Angela she did a really good job. Like, it felt like every moment that Daryl was doing his thing, it felt earned. It felt like it was pushing the envelope. even Carol and the progression of her, like with what happened to Henry and what happened with her marriage, like just falling, like the kingdom fell, like she just couldn't be the same. And I think there's gonna be a reckoning to come. Like I can't wait to see, you know, Savage Carol come back. Like I feel like next season we're gonna find her hair is gonna be cut off. Like she is gonna go ham. And then even like that moment with her and Lydia at the end, it was kind of like it all went full circle. Like she had to have been thinking like, man, I've done this before. Like this happened with 2 little girls. This happened before with me in a situation where like I was at a crossroads and these men tried to kill me and I had to go and blow them away, even though I had stopped doing this lifestyle. You know, I went out to get my wedding ring and I just killed a whole slew of people because I wanted to protect my son. Like she's gone through these different moments, but it's kind of just like it's right there over the surface, and I think it's about to bleed through in a really interesting way. And Melissa Barrage, she's just one of the best actors they have on the staff anyway. Greg Nicotero, I think he directed the last episode, and it showed. It was a great episode. Even though nothing happened, like it was still a really good pivotal episode. It felt like a good stepping stone. And I haven't even talked about the Whisperers. Like they suddenly came in the middle of the season, and they had a strong dynamic actor in the role of Alpha, menacing and terrifying actor in the person that plays Beta. I think he came from Sons of Anarchy. Just him fighting with Daryl, like it was like one of the best fights of the series. But the character Alpha is just so maniacal and just evil and calculative. And she feels, I mean, honestly, it's like the group at a certain point, they almost went the same exact route. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's justified in a certain stance. But at the end of the day, I think that they did a really good job with just making her feel unlike Negan, unlike the governor, unlike anybody. Like, she is her own, like, I don't know how to put it, like, threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, she embodies what it is to be a threat because that's how she lives. You know what I'm saying? And it's just commendable. Like, I'd never seen, like, you know, a villain like this come onto The Walking Dead, and I think that they did a really good job with it. I think I'm about to get over my time. I didn't mean to go over my time. But I did enjoy this series, this season. I think the only negative I'd say would be Henry. And it's like, at this point, does that matter? Because he's gone. It's sad to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so many people surrounded him. Oh, there it is. So many different people surrounded him that mattered and that are affected because of his passing. It's just, I don't know. Like, Judith did some questionable, stupid things as well, but nowhere near to what Henry was. Henry was just annoying, but it's like, there's never a moment I was like, man, I hope this kid dies. I was just like, yo, get wise, bro. Get hip, or you're not gonna make it. And it's kind of like, ultimately, he could have gotten crippled. Like, Alpha could have, you know, done anything to this boy. She didn't have to kill him, you know, but she did. And it's kind of like, he's not necessarily a plot device, but he's an example. They legit made an example of this kid. And as well as Tara's gone, like Paul's gone, like there's some meaty people that are gone. And I think that they did a really good job with this season. I commend them. Like, I don't have too many other negatives other than Henry and like some moments in the first season, the beginning of this season, where I was like just too anxiety ridden because I didn't know. I feel like that was more of an issue with the marketing. They made it way too focused on Rick instead of just telling the story. Like, I think if they would have just told the story just normal and not given any inclination that, you know, Andrew Lincoln was going to leave until that episode, I think it would have meant so much more. I mean, I think from a viewership standpoint, it made sense from a number standpoint, but I think it hurt them in the end because some people left without really realizing, whoa, this actually could end up being better. And I think ultimately it helped revitalize the series in a big way. So anyway, make sure these last 20 seconds, I'm just gonna rumble. Make sure you go and click on this on my face right here, and you'll be able to see the full entire reaction from our Team JVS website. I want you to see it. I was gonna put it on Patreon, but I just want you guys to enjoy it. So just click on my face somewhere here, and you'll be able to see the full entire reaction and hopefully enjoy it. I'll talk to you guys a bit later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Have a blessed night, guys. Peace.